Welcome back, everybody, to day 2. It's week 3 of the Wild Rift EMEA Championships. We're focusing on Europe, and I'm joined by Stuart after a surprising end to our first series of the day. I think those of us looking at the game we're like, oh, okay, Entropic are going to win, and then Blows just steal it back with one heck of a team fight to end that. Stuart, any initial thoughts on that last series that we just saw?
What a very, very close series. It feels like it was very slow as well, a very slow series. It wasn't really that action that we like to see from Wild Rift. You know, there was a lot of that, but yeah, it just shows in Wild Rift really that after that 15-minute mark, if you can win a team fight, even if you're down, if you have mini waves pushed into the base, all you need is one team fight win, and that's it. So, you know, it's not like PC League, you have to wait till 30, 45 minutes. All you have to do is wait 15 minutes, win one team fight, and like Blows Gamer did, they took the series. Yeah,
they did, and a really impressive team fight in the way that Savek played it out. We're going to switch focus on to our second series of the day, though, and as we do, how to play Garen. Yeah, I mean, it's Beyblade, basically. Exactly that. We saw Garen in our second game of the day in at least the first series. We're going to swap focus over, though, to Mood Gaming against Control, two of the teams that we had expectations of coming into week 1, but unfortunately stumbled and find themselves in the lower bracket. Stuart, you and I are going to delve into these lineups and the game in just a few minutes, but I want to know what Carmeline has as her key points to watch for the second series.
Hello everyone, I'm back here for these key points. We are signed off with the and back again. What does that even mean, Carmeline? Are you crazy? No, I'm not crazy. I'm talking about roaming supports. You know, that's the trend this week. Morgana, Braum, Rakan, Galio, whatever you wanted, they're gonna be roaming. We've seen it in the last series, we'll see it over again. But we cannot forget about something really important for this upcoming game. That is the desolation of 2-0. Both teams, both Mood Gaming and Control, did go 2-0 in games that were expected to be quite even. So what happened there, we'll never know, I guess. But what we can say is that today, I hope they give us a 3-game series. And now for my last point of the day, of course, we're going to talk about something really, really important. And that is the Battle of the Junglers, mentioned by Stuart, but adapted to this one. Why? Well, because Ryder, Sito and Razor used to be junglers. You know, they used to play in the same position. Then Ryder, Sito swapped to mid lane, and now he's playing against his old team, Team Dark. So whatever, Team Dark, sorry, Mood Gaming. So whatever happens there, you never know. But what I'm saying is expect and expected, because it's the road to redemption. Back to you.
I appreciate the Hobbit references as somebody who's slightly under average height myself. Definitely feeling like I'm part of a fellowship on that one. So, Mood Gaming versus Control. A lot of points mentioned there about jungle, and I like that as a focus, because I feel like kind of the jungle is the role that dictates whether our teams are playing faster or slower. And I like the junglers like, Zefta and Vex, who are like, I'm just going to go aggressive the entire time. So do you think there's one thing in this matchup that is key there? As we take a look through the lineups, you can see, I think we've already spoken a little bit about Ryder, Zito, and the likes of Control. So where do you see the jungle matchup heading up, Stuart?
I feel like for me, I mean, like you said, there's kind of 2 different play styles when you're playing jungle. If you want to play like aggressive early game junglers, you got the likes of Lee Sin, you got the likes of Jarvan that we've seen a little bit. But then you got them late game sort of scaling, I guess, junglers at the same time, like the Jax, like the Fiora, which I'm kind of the same as you. I don't really like the kind of, scaling late game junglers, and I like the early aggression. You know, if you could get your hands on the Lee Sin, if you can get your hands on the Jarvan as well, that will be really, really important to get the team and get the momentum flowing.
And I think that's where one thing that when we've been talking off camera today, where the drafting game series 1 of the day was really weird, to be quite frank. Yeah. It's like no set priority. Jarvan didn't really get played at all. We saw some Kha'Zix. We saw like 2 games of Vi, which she can fit in the meta. Again, I was watching like Brazil last night at 2 a.m. randomly, not able to sleep, and I'm watching games of Brazil playing Vi. So like, I know that you can make it work, but like, there's some really consistent picks that did not get played in Series 1, and I'm expecting to see more now as we head into Series 2. So it's Control on the red side. They will have to ban out the normal likes of, we've seen Morgana, we've seen Jace, we've seen some set bans as well on that red side.
Yeah, definitely. You'll see the more standard bans, which we didn't really see in the first series, but I feel like with these teams and coming into this tournament, they focus a lot more on comfort picks, like we saw in the last series with like Vi as well. We don't really see too much of Vi, but if it's a comfort pick, if it's something that you're comfortable on, which we've seen from other players as well throughout this tournament, if you can pick something you're comfortable on, you'll be able to play really, really well. But interesting enough, set being banned on the blue side, so leaving a ban open for Control on the red side. So Mood Gaming already saying, okay, we don't want to focus on that set, we want something else as a first pick instead.
Yeah, my mind goes then, okay, what's going to have the most available picks? And I would look at bot side for that, looking at whether it's a Morgana, whether it's a Varus, whether it's... We haven't seen a lot of Corki first pick, but I think it's actually strong enough that depending on the rest of the bans, we may very well find it. Jace going to get banned away, so now we look at Garen as one of the other Baron lane picks to be available. Looking at what else, Camille, Galio, both still available in this draft so far.
Ooh, Corki ban, very, very interesting. Yeah.
This is where you're looking at Morgana first pick. Like if you start banning bot lane carries here, it's an indicator that you're looking at a strong first pick on it.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Morgana first picks, Camille first picks as well. Even Gragas as well is another one. Very, very, flexible champions that can play in multiple roles. I think that's kind of what you're looking at as a first pick. That is the Garen ban as well. So yeah, like you said, Morgana, Gragas, Camille as well, I think are going to be the top 3 right now of what they're focusing on. But now it's Mood Gaming. It's like, now this is kind of the bad side, really, of blue side of the draft sometimes, which I kind of speak about a little bit. But wow,
whoa!
Interestingly enough, a first pick Zed. I'm not too sure if I like that, to be fair.
I have a feeling that Mood had really high Zed priority in their first series as well. I remember Razor, I think, took it very early on. I don't know that I think it's first pickable. I think this would have found its way to second rotation because you'd be looking at Control and likely they would go like Lee Sin and then one of the other strong picks, whether it was the Gragas, whether it was the Morgana. Odd draft to start out already, and this is where I think these teams kind of differentiate from the likes of Game Lord, like WREC and Navi, and some of them is like they opt away from some of the absolute meta picks and, as you said, into comfort instead. Lee Sin's going to fall through first rotation as well. Interesting. Doesn't happen very frequently.
Yeah, Camille, Lee Sin as well, Galio as well, another one. I like the Thresh priority. We saw that a lot in the previous series as well. Thresh, I think, is one of the best supports as well, especially at roaming, and with Komoto on the support as well. He loves to roam around the map. He likes to try and land them hooks as soon as possible. But again, Darius priority as well. The priority of Mood Gaming is very, very odd and something that we really haven't seen before. But there's the Morgana in the duo lane. I feel like you have to pick that AP kind of source of damage in the duo lane, because if you leave it to that second ban phase, Control are just going to ban out a lot of champions.
Yeah, exactly. I think the flexibility there with the Morgana, you can put it in support. I think the Gragas from Control allows them to just pick something standard in bottom lane eventually, because now you're looking at like Gragas in the middle lane with Camille likely in the Baron lane for them. And now we turn towards the bans. Control maybe support is where they focus here. I think there are too many junglers available to really have a lot of impact, whereas you've already got the Thresh on the side of Control, so maybe it's like ban out the Rakan, maybe ban out the likes of an Alistair, that kind of thing. But I'm wrong, they're just going to ban junglers.
Yeah, it's going to be the Lee Sin being banned on, which surprisingly got through the entire first round of the draft, to be fair. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we saw Ryder Zito play Gragas mids the first round. I'm pretty sure I remember, because I remember talking to not to Ryder Zito, but I remember talking about during the cast about, Ryder Zito being kind of shining light for the team of Control on that Gragas pick. So I think going into this one, it will most likely be that Gragas mid lane. So Varus being banned out, interestingly enough. So this is the thing now. So Control have that AP source of damage. They have the Gragas, which probably isn't the best sustained damage for AP, but they have an AP source of damage anyway. So now you're looking at maybe AD carries for E-Man in that duo lane. That's why Varus is being banned out. maybe we might see a Kai'Sa ban or a
Kai'Sa,
Xayah ban. Xayah, I think, is actually a very, very good pick here against the side of Mood Gaming already. You can dodge out the Apprehend, you can dodge out of the Dark Binding as well. It's going to be Kha'Zix, interesting enough, instead. So focusing on the junglers, a lot of junglers being banned out, you know, Fiora and everything, but no, they're going to decide to go for double AP composition.
Yeah, going through that. I mean, it could be Gragas jungle as well. We don't see it as much in Wild Rift as we do in PC, but it is a bit of a slower jungle. It kind of depends on the matchup now with Mood, and this is where you can use red side to your advantages. You know you can put it in middle lane, but you also know that you can swap things up and see where the compositions end up. So Jarvan is available if Mood want it. Jax is available. Wow, we didn't even mention that until this point. Like, that's a pick that in our first series was banned out and was banned a whole lot yesterday. So they will pick up that scaling jungle pick. I mean, Morgana's probably bot lane carry then, needing that damage, unless you go Senna and you play passing Senna alongside it, but we haven't seen so much of that.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen like support Morganas as well build full AP. I think I remember Ryu doing it before. And oh, is this going to be a formulation special stress? Is this going to be Morgana support? Yeah, it could be Morgana support, Galio AP carry, or it could be Galio support, Morgana AP carry. We'll have to see. I think we saw it yesterday as well in yesterday's series. I think it was Aphelion that played Galio Morgana, and they were actually like sharing gold in a way, which I thought was very, very interesting. And the problem with that is that you don't really have that kind of source, I guess, of AP damage. And wow, that's a Riven. We haven't seen a Riven in a long, long time. I felt like it was going to be something that Control were hiding for that last pick, because most of the time you don't really see jungle pick or even top lane pick, or it could be jungle Riven, could be jungle Camille in a way, but I believe it could be jungle Riven, but we don't really see junglers being left until that last red side pick.
Part of me thinks it might be mid lane Riven. I don't know why. Something in the back of my head.
Could be.
I don't know that matchup. Because at this point, the one thing that I want to bring up is, like, with this Galio pick, if he is able to go anywhere towards building tank, like Darius, Galio, Jax with a Morgana buying a lot of time, is difficult to get damage to stick on them. Like, to actually get the kills for Control is very difficult. Riven may fix that. That ultimate that's going to come through and deal damage based on, like, missing health, or at least, you know, that finishing damage that Riven brings. Hard to get to work, but when you have the setup of, like, Gragas and Ziggs to deal damage initially, maybe that's something that can work for them. We don't see a lot of Riven, so I think you're right to kind of raise that as like, oh, there's a lot that could happen with the way that Control actually finalized their draft. But it's a spicy one. It's another non-standard draft from our team. So I'm looking forward to getting onto the Rift and seeing what Control and Mood Gaming have for us.
Yeah, as mentioned, it's more about comfort picks, I feel like, for these two teams. You know, the Zed priority, Riven being picked as well. These are picks that we haven't really seen high priority over the last few weeks. But yeah, again, like you said, you know, really, really excited to get into this series. Hopefully for another close series, but maybe a more explosive series. We'll have to wait as we get into game number one. So it's going to be Morgana on the AP carry and Galio, and then it's going to be Camille mid lane, interesting enough.
I was about to say, look over in the top side. I'm like, okay, sure. Oh, no. That is what it is. We've got Assault System, which... Hang on a second. Controller on the blue side. Yeah. It's Control that are on the blue side. Mood are on the red side. I was like, that's not... yeah,
that's not what we saw in draft. Yeah, I'm not...
Okay, so take everything we said in draft and flip it. Flip it around.
So now we're totally flipping everything around. I'm a little bit confused now. My brain is kind of completely gone wild at the moment. Okay, so it's Control that focused on the Zed priority, which we saw a little bit interesting enough in the previous series, where Ryder Zito does like to play on the Zed, and then it's Control instead that are the ones going for this Morgana Galio, and it was it was Moods that were focusing on the Thresh power. Okay, my brain hurts at the moment.
Well, let's focus on the game in front of us, as that's a Dark Binding that did land but demonstrated back and forth, and now it's going to be Baloo's moving through to the top side. We're getting those scoreboards swapped around for everybody so we can keep track of it. There's a body slam up into the top lane. Very aggressive starts this as Jash does get flashed on with the Riven. Blood goes over to Mood Gaming topside.
Yeah, the slow push for Riven in the top side, and great rotations as well by Baluzi, being able to rotate onto the top side and being able to take up that first blood. I think it's pretty easy when you're a tower dive like that as well. But Jash as well has lost so much gold already up in his Baron lane. You can see the slow push already. There was loads of minions, so it makes it really easy to tower dive early on. Halil flashing away and then flashing back in as well. Dashing away, sorry, and flashing back in. And they're
back
going
into
again.
The same players. Baloo's is going to get taken out by the tower this time around. It will be traded for the kill. So this time not quite as clean, but this Gragas presence early on. I always think of Gragas as a little bit of a slower jungle, but apparently not. Baloo's is like, I'm just going to go in aggressive the entire time. Razor is going to get death marked on. Didn't actually use a Hextech ultimatum to keep him from jumping back to that shadow. So Razor holds that ultimate, but does survive through the death mark.
Yeah, the thing is, they're really shutting down Jash in this Baron lane at the moment. They've just twice now they tried to look for a tower dive, and yeah, I didn't really think of it, to be fair, but it is the Gragas jungle, like you said. It's a bit of a slower jungler than
he says
what we've seen before.
Twice before 3 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like he just like he done like a full red side clear, and after he done that full red side clear, he just went straight to top lane. But then meanwhile, it looks like Nerps on the side of control, he was able to steal the blue buff away. So it is a 3 jungle camp start for this Jax. But again, shutting down this Jash, I'm really interested to see the gold at the moment, especially Jash's gold as well, because he lost a lot of minions in the Baron lane. Wow, you can see the predictions by Twitch chat as well. Yeah, it's Mood Gaming, but Gragas is going aggressive. Again.
Yeah, they've got the explosive cask available this time around. They're just waiting on it. Don't even use it. They even get the kill to go over to the Ziggs. So this perhaps is looking a little too easy on the top side of the map for Mood Gaming. Very impressive start.
I'm saying, wow, look at the gold that Jash has compared to the other top lane. That's already a 1,500 gold lead for Halil in this Baron lane. Yeah, they're really shutting down Jash early on. And honestly, it's really, really well played. You know, if you can focus on the kind of weak side of the map, and if you can get a lane ahead, then that can be a winning scenario. And already, they have a 2,000 or near enough 2,000 gold lead, 4 minutes into the game now. And with these objectives spawning, it's going to be the Mountain Dragon, which will give you a little bit of extra shield. But look, Gragas is again in the Baron lane.
Oh, this is dangerous situation as Halil didn't have the Ignite available, so can't get the kill onto Jash, but just throws it out because they know that they're going to get this first tower of the game if they just push down with the two of them. And that'll allow them to set up for Rift Herald. It's traded for a Mountain Drake, but this is already such a good start for Halil. Now 2,000 gold in just the Baron lane advantage.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And you can even see as well that even though Beluzi hasn't been able to farm up as much, and Jax did get 3 camps, but Beluzi is still a little bit of ahead in gold. Obviously, it doesn't really mean that much, but that's still a gold lead for the jungler as well. And it just shows that, sometimes, we kind of spoke about it a little bit before draft about these scaling sort of junglers. You're not able to have that sort of presence in the early game. And it just shows perfectly in this game. I think this game is a perfect example. Is that Gragas has that early game pressure with the body slam and being able to rotate around the map and has the explosive cast. But Jax is the sort of jungler that kind of wants to farm up a little bit and wants to scale up until the mid and late game.
Yeah, and there's so much of that comes from the slow push that you mentioned. I think that perhaps newer viewers and less experienced Wild Rift players might not understand the impact of that, but having the waves stack up against the enemy not only steals experience in the sense of Riven was almost level 4 when they did that tower dive, and Darius was level 2. The damage from minions, the security that allows you, buys the time that you just bring the jungler up and you dive under the tower very quickly. You make it a hit and run and go, and suddenly you get this first kill of the game and you can follow it up with the second one. So much of that play is based on what Halil did in the laning phase before the dive to make sure the dive was successful.
Beluzi again just hovering Halil at the moment. I feel like this is definitely a game plan that Mood Gaming have come into this. They really want to get this Riven ahead, but Beluzi's sitting on a ward day. They don't know this whole time that they're sitting on the ward, so I really want to see what control are going to be able to do with this vision control. And yeah, they will just be able to
Proto Bell forward already. Nope, not going to be enough from Mellowstar, who is playing under the name of Salt System for this game. But it's a trade of towers, top side for bot side. That's going to help Jax a little bit, gets a little bit of gold over to Jash as well on the Darius. But this Jax needs a lot more time in order to actually go later on. Box doesn't quite land where they wanted it to, and neither does the ultimate, as Kamalto is going to get the taunt on Camille under the turret. This did not land the way that Mood wanted it to, but the explosive cask is going to blast one back. It's actually Mellowstar that has fallen, and I think that probably Mood should cut their losses and run from this, although they're going to try and go aggressive as Control will jump in with the Jackson Force out another flash.
I think we actually missed out that Ryder Zito actually picked up a kill as well on Assault System. I feel like I'm not too sure. It was like at the bottom of our screen. I don't think we saw that. Hopefully we'll be able to see that in the replay. But yeah, Ryder Zito picking up a kill, and in the end it was pretty a bit back and forth. But yeah, you can see here Ryder Zito just caught in that assault system with the ultimate. Actually uses a flash forward as well, but flashes forward but then uses a W and uses the ultimate to dash away. I think that's like a situation where like, okay, I could go in and it's like, oh wait, I actually can't go in. I need to go back to safety. But a really good pick off there by Ryder Zito, to be fair. Proving that this Z priority is going to be really, really helpful for Control. And they're looking to shut down Hello as well, but with many dashes that Riven has, she'll be able to easily get away to safety.
Yeah, just jumps away. That's one of the annoying things about Riven. When she's ahead, she's so oppressive and just runs out as well, just like dashes away. So hard to lock her down. A lot of focus going out from Mood on this middle lane tower. They weren't really able to get the last play to work. They're going to try again, although Control are the ones here being the aggressors. Go aggressively down onto the Ziggs, pick up the kill, and this is his combination with the Zed, with the Galio, with the Morgana. You lock somebody in place and take him out.
Yeah, really, really good dart binding there by E-Man and Komoto. The really, really good combination. Yeah, you just spoke about it briefly there. The crowd control that that this Dura lane has for the side of Control can really look to try and make these picks and look to control the team fight as well, which is what they're looking to try and do. You can see E-Man already has the Haunting guys available, probably going to go for the Rylai's Crystal Scepter as well, just to get them slows in as well, to get even more, crowd control with all the slows and roots that she already has. And I think the interesting combo that we've seen before, it was by Team Dark last week, this combination of the Black Shield with the Jax as well. If you can put the Black Shield on a Zed or on a Jax before they jump in, then it's going to be really hard for Mood Gaming, to be able to take that Black Shield away and just try to crowd control them at all. I mean, they have Gragas, they have a lot of AP damage with the Ziggs, but if they don't have any, AP damage or abilities available, Jackson Zed will just be able to freely jump into the backline without being worried about getting crowd controls.
Yeah, exactly that. And one other pick that works very well for that is this Darius. I think we saw Acolyte have that, where it's just like running forward with the Black Shield on, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Deathmark's going to proc onto this Camille. Is not quite enough to get the kill. In goes Galio, but Camille is able to dodge it out. As Kamalto now trapped under the tower. Doesn't have aggro for now, but will end up eventually taking it. Has to try and run away. Thresh going to play back away after the Proto Belt. Lands the hook, sets up the kill. Another kill goes over to Balooz, and now Mood have kind of caught what Control were throwing a little bit in the top side, trying to utilize the big wave, but Control now caught out. This is a very aggressive stance from Ryder Zito and that, but look, Jax is going to go in the turret, knows that he's lost for the world. Control, I said kind of that Mood caught what they were throwing. Well, they gave it another attempt at throwing through the top side, and Mood certainly will be happy to take those few kills.
And it wasn't really a controlled engage by Control. They were
kind of
a little bit, aggressive there. Yeah, well, they're true. Yeah, they were in the mood to be able to get them kills, but yeah, I'm gonna stop the puns now. Anyway,
these dad jokes. Break down the clips, Stuart.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, looking down at this, they're very, very aggressive. I don't think they realized that the rest of Mood Gaming were able to capitalize on the kind of over-aggression, really, of Control. You can see that Jax is just attacking the tower because he realizes that he's dead, to be fair. Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, we didn't really speak about this, but there's a lot of mobility on the side of Mood Gaming that allows them to dash around and everything. There's the Black Shield coming in handy here for E-Man, just not being able to be affected by the Flay at all. Both teams at the moment haven't taken down this mid lane tower. I mean, the wave control, the Morgana and the Ziggs have. I think it won't be until like 20 minutes in the game that maybe we'll see the mid lane tower going down, to be honest, because they're just going to be wave clearing and it'll just keep going and going, and we're just never going to get a situation where mid lane tower falls down. But I feel like it's all about the side lanes in this game, though. There's a lot of side lane pressure, a lot of aggression going. And speaking of aggression...
Oh, Riven 2 for the price of 1 off that stun, but I think it might have been a little bit more than they want. Here comes Jax with the counter-strike. Galio going to re-enter the fight from the world's shortest entrance, as Ryder Zito is here as well. Trying to get the kill onto Halil, but they haven't been able to do it, and now they're going to back away. Meanwhile, topside, Razor is pushing in. Apprehend is going to land. That's a flash over from Ziggs, but ends up right under the Decimate anyway. They're trying to get the damage down. Jash is trying to get the execution shoot and doesn't get it, and that's going to be enough for Jash to be forced out of this fight. And now, no, it's not quite enough for Nerb to pick up the kill. This has gone so back and forth on these two as these death timers, or the health bars, I should say, are so low. Camille has picked up the turret on the side, and it's Mood that I think come out ahead, but now Ryder City's got another kill for himself. Overall, very scrappy, at least 2 kills each, but the towers going over on the side lane to that Camille is going to open this map up a little bit more.
Yeah, Mood Gaming just distracting the members of Control, and it seems like in the end it actually went kind of even, surprisingly, but Ryder Zitto.
Yeah, going to try and go aggressive 1v2 under the tower. I don't think that's ever going to work out for you.
The exhaust coming in really clutch here for Ryza. We haven't really spoke about it, but Ryza gets it, taking the exhaust, before this game, just being able to shut down Zed, and it just shows there, Zed won't be able to as much damage if he jumps in and if he has the exhaust available. But yeah, I feel like Control are just playing very over aggressive, and they're trying to kind of force these plays really without thinking about how this could affect the map, how this could affect the momentum of the game as well. And as you mentioned, Ryza in the Baron lane being able to close down and take the tier 2 tower as well in the Baron lane. And now Control again are grouping up. They're going to try and shut down Halil.
Yeah, if they can get this kill, it's a big one, but there's a GA there. Rift Herald is going to charge through as well. A lot of mobility, and I feel like that may be another reason for Control wanting to take this Drake. Jax also benefits from the Cloud Drake movement speed that's going to come through, and there is an engage as they're going to go aggressive. Hook does land onto Galio, but Galio already got the crowd control to stick, and they're able to take the kill onto Gragas and back themselves away for now. Zed jumps back to the Shadow. They're going to refocus. Oh, can't get the Dragon, though, because Halil's actually cut them off in the river. Is going to try and go aggressive. You have to be careful in these little pathways here. That's a taunt landing onto Riven. Can't quite get the stun yet. Doesn't force her into the GA, and it's Thresh that drops first. Halil now caught between 5 members, and it's this time that Mood have been over aggressive in this situation. Halil is going to try and jump their way out. Doesn't quite have flash available, but is it going to be enough? Does get away. Yes. Okay, Jax is focusing down on the Dragon. I think that's the right play from here, but this fight has not stopped as Camille going to go aggressive. Gets apprehended, forced into a fight as Halil has rejoined, and Jash does not have the ultimate to actually get the kill. Dragon goes down to Jax, taunted over the wall, flashed over as Morgana has died too, but it's Jax picking up Camille to kind of even up this fight. Kills are even. Gold is about 1,000 difference. Dragon goes over to Control.
I feel like you need a breather after that one, but I guess you can't.
I'm not going to get one. Zed's going to go in with a death mark into Halil, and that's another kill going over to Control.
Okay, I'll let you take a breather now, Stress. That was a really messy last minute or two, both by Control and Mood Gaming. It really started off where Control realized they were in a 4 versus 5 situation, so they tried to get the pick, and they did get the pick in the end. And then they were kind of low a little bit on health bars. So they couldn't really start the Dragon, and Mood Game were like, okay, they're quite low, so we're going to go aggressive ourselves. But then they went over aggressive. The taunt from Komodo, the bindings as well by E-Man being able to lock down the members of Mood Gaming. And then it was just scrappy back and forth, kills happening left, right, and center. And I feel like this game is just very messy. But yeah, looking back at this play, you can see that they caught out the member, they caught out the Gragas in the end in the jungle. And as you can see, the Jax is very low. So they can't actually go for this Dragon. They realize, okay, we need to back off. There's nothing really we can do. Ryza playing a little bit aggressive, the same with Halil and also Assault System. But the problem is when you get Dark Binded and when you have the Apprehend available, you can just hook over the wall. And then you still have the Galio ulti available as well. And you can see that this is where Mood Gaming play a little bit too aggressive. Halil gets caught as well. I believe, if I remember from the team fight, that he doesn't actually die from this as well, because again, the amount of mobility and everything that he has, you can see he is able to escape. But then after this as well, they were taking the Dragon, and then Ryza jumped in as well. The Dark Binding was too little too late, unfortunately. E-Man trying his hardest to try and escape, flashes, dashes, uses the ultimate, and then Camille flashes in, and then Jax flashes over the wall. You then have a taunt as well for Komodo, and it's just scrappy. Everything is just getting thrown left, right, and center at the moment. I think that's probably the longest replay I've ever seen in Wild Rift history.
I think so too, but the Dragon goes over to Jax. I think that's such a key point as they're going to go aggressive topside. It allows allows Jax to kind of catch a little bit more when it comes to Riven. No Guardian Angel available right now, and Halil, it wasn't quite enough with the execute. That's always tragic when you see that. But now another fight engaged on the top side. Galio does land the taunt, and his Gragas has been forced back away as well. Ooh. I think at this point, E-Man, if he gets anything here, turn for the Baron. Turn for Baron as quickly as you can, Control, and that's exactly what they're doing. We saw in the last game as Zito is going to pick up 1 kill. We saw in the last game how not taking the Baron really punished the Jax. It actually ended Entropic's games in the open bracket. They ended up dropping out. This time I think you take it, you give Jax all the freedom in the world to push on, and there's no real steal available here. Ziggs would have to land something incredible without an ultimate. Now they've got the Baron. They've got all the presence in the world and Control from a rough start. Halil was getting such a lead top lane. Control have reasserted control on the game, and they're actually going to look to get another kill here. Darius gets the execute. Jash turning this game back around for himself.
Yeah, you have the scaling right as Zito jumping in as well. That's probably going to be another kill. This could be an inhibitor as well as the stasis and the dash away being able to save Camille for now. But this is 4 members strong, but Halil's jumping in.
Yeah, Halil is going to get Komoto, and don't overextend now, Control. You have yourselves the Baron buff. Yep. That's the game-winning objective that you needed to take.
Yeah, I mean, really well played by Ryder Zito just before the Baron fight. He was just hunting down the Gragas. Obviously, Gragas is a jungler in this game, hunting down the jungle on the side of Mood Gaming, and he knows that if he kills a jungler, it's basically a free Baron. I say it's a free Baron, but we saw a Carly mid lane steal the Baron yesterday, so anything can happen in these games. But most of the time when you take the jungler down, you feel like, okay, we have an opportunity now. So they have the Baron, they have the control, they kind of went a little bit too aggressive, and with 5 seconds on this Elder Drake as well, the waves are pushing in, but Komoto's still dead for 10 seconds, so maybe they could try and look to take control over this Dragon Pit. Yeah,
right as this is going to go in aggressively. That's 1v3, and this is actually a misplay. Oh no, he went back to the Shadow! He was trying to get the kill and ends up in the GA. This has gone horribly wrong!
Oh no!
This is, 1 versus 4. I was about to say, Zed goes to the top lane with a Baron buff, pushes the minions in, fights for the turret, but they're going to fight in mid lane. They've got Komoto here, and it feels like Controller just kind of like trying to ram their head against the wall right now and get anything to work, rather than looking at the objective focus play that this composition should be playing.
As I said, it just seems very scrappy from both teams and very messy. And Ryder Zito playing a little bit too over-aggressive again, as you said, had to jump back to the Shadow. But I feel like Mood Gaming should have full control, even though they might feel like they're a little bit behind at the moment. But you're in a 4 versus 5 situation. Elder Dragon's up as well. Ryder Zito is still dead for 15 seconds. But they don't really have any real source of, I guess, engage in a way. I mean, you can look to use the Hextech Ultimatum. You can look towards a hook or something, but Mood Gaming are not going to risk anything. And yeah, I guess they don't want to, they realize they've made a few mistakes before, so they don't want to make another mistake again. And now we're kind of at a stalemate, really. And at this point in the game, you know, I mentioned it before the series as well, kind of about last series. And at this point in the game, one team fight could be the difference between you win and losing. But Control, they're not going to be messing around anymore. They're going to be going for this Elder.
Mood have to contest this. They all recalled too far away from the Drake, and now it's half health. They do have a Ziggs ultimate that can really put out the presence. There's a lot of damage comes down to begin this fight, and Control.
Dragon's going to reset.
That's going to be 4 members hit by the Ziggs ultimate, and they're trying to force this fight. There's low health bars all the way through Mood's lineup, but look at how they're surviving through. Are they able to just weather the storm? Controller trying to find any kind of fight as Jax has dove into the backline, will take one down, and now it's Assault System getting assaulted through the jungle as 2-0 on this fight for the Jackson. You're going to duel against the Jax. Camille can do it with these kind of health bars, and Riven is going to try and help it again. If the Counter-Strike is up and available again, it would have been enough to take the fight, but didn't actually commit to it, and Jax is going to back away. There's a GA on the Riven. This is an easy 2 versus 1 to finish it off, and that should have been Control's fight. That is Elder going over to Mood, and Mood, from picking off Ryder Zito, have bounced back in this game very well.
Again, it's Control just playing really over-aggressive. They tried to start the Baron and Dragon, and they were like, okay, we're not going to start the Dragon. We're just going to try and force a fight. But they forced it so hard that it was so low. And then you had Camille, you had Riven jumping in onto the backline as well. And there's nothing really that E-Man could have done about double teleport.
Yeah, Komoto's going to try and get into triple teleport, actually. They're going to try and just continue this pressure down, but remember that Elder has gone. Ziggs is going to get popped, and now it's basically end the game. Yeah. You'll try and weather whatever you can. Like, Control have to force the Baron and maybe look to play, but there's a giant stack of minions in the bottom wave that's going to have to be dealt with by E-Man first. I don't think Control are fast enough on this. There's still 4 members of Mood available, and top lane's pushed away. Mid lane is pushed away. bot lane is pushing towards control as well. Like, they don't have enough map control to actually do this objective.
Yeah, like you said, it feels like you have to end the game now, but how do they end the game? How do they do something? Because you lost the Elder Infernal. They're going to try and go for this Baron. This is a very, very desperate play. Yeah, it's going to be really, really slow, and it's a very desperate play, but they could just lose and they could just end the game.
Yeah, I mean, you're risking a 50-50 here that Gragas body slams over the wall and just looks to seal. That is a fantastic taunt. That is beautiful from the Galio. They bait them in. Baron's gone, and that should be 1-0 on the game for Control. They have a Jax with Baron buff now, a Zed with Baron buff. That was fantastically done by Komoto.
Oh my God, Komoto. Wow. I mean, what a flash taunt. But again, I feel like it's still a situation. You have to end the game quickly. You have to try and end the game now, because if you don't end the game, it's still Elder Infernal at the end of the day. In that situation, that was a 4 versus 5. So you think that, okay, that's kind of a situation. But again, you see the flash, the 4-man taunt. It was absolutely beautiful. The follow-up by the Jax as well with the counter-strike, being able to take the Baron off of it as well. And I want to go back to live here, because I want to see if Controller trying to end the game, or if they're trying to do something. They do take one inhibitor. They are going to try and take all 3 inhibitors.
Zed will take top.
Yep, Zed is going to take top. Now they're going to look to try and go to the bottom one. But you got 2 seconds left on Gragas. They're going to try and end the game.
Yeah, they're going to try and end. They're going to rush it down. 1,600 health on the Nexus, but is it an overextend? They're going to try and throw everything they can. 700 health in Control. Will be able to steal the game from Mood. I mean, Control, they had the lead for a while. They took a second Baron, but I mean, with the Elder Infernal going over to Mood, we thought, ooh, this is a tense moment to be in. That is a game-winning Galio taunt. There was one thing 100%. That could have stolen the Baron away, stolen the Nash. It would have been the body slam over from Gragas. If Komodo doesn't land that 4-person taunt and open the Baron up, this could have been a very different game. But I mean, this game started with Josh under a ton of pressure in the top lane, like back-to-back ganks, getting kills, and Josh was in a real tough situation. But Control managed to find these fights, utilizing this Morgana Galio composition very, very well.
We came into it a little bit confused because the draft was swapped compared to in-game, but Control made it work out in the end. But it wasn't pretty, was it? It wasn't a very it was a very back and forth game, over aggressions by both teams, and yeah, in the end it was Komoto, which he said one thing that I need to say in the broadcast, which Komoto is the best support in EU, and he just showed it right there why he is the best support in EU. So I love you, Komoto. But anyway, go back to the replays. But yeah, I mean, that last play was kind of the game changer, really. And I feel like you had the triple teleport after the Elder Dragon. It was just that whole last sort of 5 minutes really was just mind-blowing to me. You had the Elder Dragon fight, then you had Mood Gaming taking the Elder, but Controller like, okay, we're going to triple teleport, we're then going to kill the Ziggs, we're then in a 4 versus 5 situation, we then take Baron, we flash taunt over the wall, and then we just end. We have the Baron up minions, we can take down the Nexus, and yeah, this was... I don't know what to say. This was an absolutely incredible game. What a game.
That was a great game to start this series out between Control and Mood. Back and forth is about as even as you're going to get between these two teams. What I'm learning, though, is teams get Baron with Jax and don't use it, which is a little bit disappointing, but nevertheless, like, Control were able to take this game. I think people wonder why we were kind of like saying they had to win the game right there. But like Elder Infernal, you can't really deal too much against it. And like, I mean, Mood had everything that they needed to basically close the game out after that, but really strong performance from Control around that last couple of minutes. Game-winning play from Komoto. I think Redazito for the majority of the game was doing a good job, only really that mid lane play. But yeah, that's how back and forth this game was. Really all in Mood's kind of early game, and then Control were able to bounce back and forth and back and ended the game with that large spike after taking Baron. Really, really, really fun game between these two teams.
I think I need a breather after that one.
We've got to play the game. That was incredible.
We got everything. So. We got everything to go through still. But yeah,
I wonder which play might be play of the game. At least if I was deciding it, it's 100% that Galio, like 100%.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the game-winning play for sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure it will be the game-winning play, and it is going to be the flash torn over the wall by Komoto, follows up, jumps over the wall by the Jax as well into the counter-strike, and this was the play. And then after this, they went back to base. They were able to teleport. They pushed down the inhibitors. They took a few inhibitors, and they were just like, okay, we're just going to end the game, because the problem that Mood Gaming, kind of had is that they had to defend the third inhibitor. Yeah. But then whilst they were trying to defend that third inhibitor, because in Wild Rift, the inhibitors don't respawn. So if you have 3 inhibitors down, or inhibitors towers, I should say down, then you're kind of in a bit of a tough situation. Right. But Control in the end were just like, okay, we don't care about a third inhibitor. We're just going to end the game.
Just end the game through top, and brought the rest of the team in after that one. We do need to take a few minutes. I definitely need a couple of minutes. So 3.5 minutes, we're going to be back. It seems like such a short break, but I'm going to catch as much of my breath as I can. It's going to be Mood versus Control when we come back.
ready?
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you caught your breath, because I just about did between game 1 and game 2. That's one of my favorite games we've had so far in WREC, and just how I nearly swore there. Back to back, crazy that series was. I'm stress joined by Stuart for this series between Mood and Control. Yeah, that could have gone either way. Any initial takeaways from that game for you, Stuart?
Just a messy back and forth game. There was overextensions, there was misplays, there was elder fights, baron fights, and in the end it came down to the last ditch auto attacks by Control, which got them the victory. And sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes it's the little things that make the big difference.
Yeah, certainly. Speaking of little things, we had Hobbit-based key points of the game going into game number 1. Carmeline, do you have any other film or TV-based analogies for us going into our second game between Mood and Control?
No, I don't. But I do have all the analogies. For example, how Control was out of control in this game. Oh my gosh, what was the beginning of that game? I didn't even understand it. They were losing versus Mood Gaming, then they were winning, then losing, then winning, then losing, then winning. I got lost in translation, to be honest. But now I think this goes quite well with my second point, which is the ping pong game, right? What happens in ping pong? You've got a ball and the ball just bounces back and forth. Exactly what this game was about, except the table was a rift and the rift was full of things, and it was so chaotic in the end that I was thinking, how can this even happen? What will happen at that point? Which is, in the end, which could be the national anthem right now for Mood Gaming. So I'm gonna sing a little bit of that. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it didn't even matter. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Carmeline. You're joining us again on the X Factor broadcast, where we are searching for Wild Rift's next singing superstar. No, we're actually looking for game number 2 between Mood and Control. I feel like we might have lost control of this broadcast just a little bit as we are going into a crazy series.
God.
Who will win? Well, everybody in chat thought that Mood were going to take that, if I remember rightly, and like 90% of you were wrong. I predicted Control, I think, for the series, although, again, can't really remember. So far, we're winning, but that is exactly what happens right before somebody comes back and 2-1's the series. Okay, I'm gonna bring everything down, and we're gonna talk about some pretty standard things. Let's talk about draft, because game 1 of this series, we saw Morgana priority, we saw Zed priority. Yeah, I agreed. That is definitely one of the best games. So when we look at priority for coming into game 2, Stuart, any picks that you want to see changed, dropped, picked instead of?
Yeah, so interesting enough, we saw the, I have to kind of remember now because I remember the draft was flipped. So we had
Zed.
The priority, the Zed priority was on Control side for Ryder Zito. So we know that it was banned away for him, in the previous series that they did lose. And we know that Ryder Zito does like this Zed pick, even though he did play a bit aggressive at times. There were some really, snappy and very, very nice plays by Ryder Zito. So we're going to have to look at that going into this one. And again, you talk about the Morgana priority, also the Galio as well, kind of that bot lane duo that we're seeing creep up more and more. We said before it was kind of this, pocket pick for formulation, but I feel like teams are starting to adapt as well. But going into this one, it will be Mood. Hopefully this is right this time.
You're going to trust it this time.
So Mood Gaming is on the blue side and Control is on the red side. So hopefully this is the same. I can't. Was Control on? Oh no, Control's on blue side. Okay, so swapped. So they swapped now. Yeah, they swapped now for the second. Second game. Sorry, a lot of confusion. Now. Yeah, a lot of confusion. But Control going to be on the red side this time. So kind of standard bans. Fiora being banned out, Garen being banned away by Mood Gaming. So we're going to be looking at this first pick priority. But now will Mood Gaming ban out the Zed? They will ban out the Morgana. That was something that E-Man was a high priority over.
You have the freedom here on blue side if you want to ban Zed, right? Like it's not that much of a stretch to ban it. Set going to be banned out by Control, Fiora already gone, Morgana and Garen gone. So very standard this game around. We've seen a lot of Varus priority in the bans and picks today. So now it's at the point where what to Mood prioritize as a first pick. We know that we've seen a lot in the way of Jace. So there is a Varus gone. Jace is available. Trying to think of what else is up that we've seen as first pickable. Corki also saw bans earlier today.
Yeah, Gragas, Galio, Camille as well, all first pick priority. But I feel like if you don't pick Zed here, I feel like Ryder Zitto is just going to pick Zed again. And I feel like
you're right.
I feel like Mood Gaming kind of had a little bit of a struggle. And I feel like if Ryder Zitto just kind of holds off a little bit on his over aggressions, it could be a really, really strong pick and a popular pick as well. And interesting enough, it's a Darius first pick. Now, in the first series, we did see Josh pick up Darius, but he just got absolutely destroyed in the early game, but he was able to come back anyway when it gets to the mid and late game. It shows you that even if you do get put behind as Darius, you can still deal a lot of damage with all of his stats and everything, even when it comes to the mid and late game.
Okay, there's the Corki that we've seen have high priority. So Thresh available, Zed available, you mentioned. Lee Sin is also available. I think partly it probably is the Darius priority based on like, hey, we dumpstered him in lane and he still had that impact that you mentioned. So maybe trying to say, okay, let's not try and do anything fancy this time. Let's just pick it for ourselves. There's the Thresh. Going to give a little bit of extra survivability, a little bit of an escape to anybody on the side of control that needs it.
Yeah, this is what I was trying to explain in the first game, but it was actually flipped. But yeah, Komodo, really, really popular pick for Komodo. He loves roaming around, as you saw with the Galio in the first game as well. He loves roaming around the map, making plays, and Thresh is a great champion for that. You know, you have the Lantern to bring the rest of your team in. You have the Hook, the Flay, and even in Wild Rift as well, because you can go for like Proto Belt on your boots upgrade. It just allows Thresh to have that another dash, just to be able to jump into the side of Mood Gaming. But now he comes a priority on the Gragas. You know, we still haven't seen Camille, surprisingly enough. No Galio as well, so maybe expecting one of them. But yeah, the Lee Sin as well. I didn't really speak about it a lot, but again, Lee Sin nearly got through the first pick phase again. And these two drafts in both these series have been or three drafts, I should say, in the first one. And this first series draft is just, yeah, it's very, very wild, very, very weird.
So one option is Zed here, the other option is jungle matchup. It could be top lane, but I think Zed makes the most sense. You recognize that it's probably going to be Zed into Gragas in the middle lane, with having that Gragas picked up and basically full top side. Could be Gragas support, but we don't see it quite as much. And now I think you just can focus out that bottom lane as well as... Well, I think it might be mid with Diana. I was going to say, like, Control can focus out bottom lane here because you've already got the Corki. Varus has been banned out by Mood, so you're only really trying to remove Orianna. Who else is available? I mean, Galio's up as another pick. So there's not that many options available for that bot lane carry.
Yeah, not a lot indeed. I mean, like you said, most likely will be the Gragas in mid lane, but can we go over to support as well and Control realizing that? Just ban away the Diana, ban away the power pick. Over to the side of Mood Gaming, and then Camille being banned out, interesting enough as well. We haven't had the Baron laner so far, and Fizz banned as well. So they're kind of forcing Gragas to go mid lane with these bans. With these bans, they're saying like, okay, you know what, you're not gonna have any other champions to pick for the mid lane, so just use a Gragas in mid lane, just take it in mid lane. So
for those of you, perhaps I'll just run through the Fizz one. It's a skill matchup. I was talking to Snitch from WREC about this matchup. It's a skill matchup, so it's neither side favored, but it's one of the matchups that against Zed can actually handle its own. We saw a Jax ban to take away the jungle presence from Control. Control do have red side, so they can always pick something here that can flex between jungle and top, although there's not that many picks available that can do that, and Kha'Zix certainly is not one of them. Now they're just going to leave it up to see what the top lane matchup is. It's going to be that Darius and where it goes from there. So not a whole lot of like engaged potential yet out of Control. There's some ability to jump in, but no real crowd control that can stick outside of that Thresh.
Yeah, you have like a double assassin comp really coming out from Control, the Kha'Zix, the Zed, which we don't really see too much, especially when you're against the likes of a Darius, a Gragas tank as well, and it is going to be Gragas support, it seems like. It is going to be the Ahri mid lane as well. With Ahri's actually a pretty decent pick into Zed, because if you try and use the ultimate from Zed, every single time you're going to end up behind the enemy champion. So Ahri can just use the charm just behind and just taunt Zed straight away. So even after he uses ultimate, he won't be able to dash away. He won't be able to stack up that damage as well. And also Orianna, that's a lot of AP damage for Mood Gaming. And these last two picks as well are kind of, pretty decent for assassins. I was just about to say, when you have Darius, when you have Lee Sin and Gragas as well that can build a little bit of tank, it's going to be hard for these assassins to kind of jump onto Mood Gaming. But now you're picking an Ahri, you're picking an Orianna as well. These are two very, very high priority targets for the Assassins.
Yeah, and while Orianna does scale, I think when you're into Assassins, like they're going to be the big target. Hard to jump onto them. Renekton is going to be the top lane pick for Control. Just kind of give them a little bit more of that early game presence. But I mean, Kha'Zix, Renekton, Zed is a scary top side of the map. So is Darius, Lee Sin, and Ahri though. So yeah, a lot of magic damage on the side of Mood. Control, on the other hand, are looking for like individual picks, and then they are relying purely on Corki for that magic damage.
Yeah, it's two very, very interesting WOD drafts. You know, again, we don't really see a lot of Kha'Zix. There's Zed priority, which we saw a lot when we casted a month or two, well, nearly 2 months ago now. We saw a lot of Zed priority and this Diana priority as well. And obviously the meta's been changed a little bit, but I'm quite excited to see, Zed being played. And again, I feel like it's more of comfort picks for these two teams, because they're not really focused a lot on the meta. They're just focused on, okay, if we get a comfort pick, even if we're in a losing matchup, we can still make the plays. We can still do things that maybe other teams won't be able to do on these champions.
I think this might be a game where we're going to see quite a few Black Cleavers on the side of Control. Otherwise, there's a lot of armor stacking that can come through on the likes of Darius, the likes of Gragas if he's going tank support, which is what you'd expect. And even Lee Sin can start, fitting some armor into his build throughout the game. So yeah, it's kind of a heavy magic damage on the side of Mood, heavy AD on the side of Control, but Control do lead the series 1-0 after a very scrappy, very exciting first game between these two. I'm ready to get onto the Rift. I'm ready to get this game underway between Mood and Control. It basically is last chance for them though, because whoever loses this series is out of the runnings for this open bracket.
Yeah, you say that. I mean, if Mood Gaming lose, they are, like you said, they're out. Control kind of have that kind of safe edge, I guess you could say. Even if they lose this game, they still do have an opportunity in the third game as well. But they're not going to want that. They don't want that at all. And you can see already Ahri being able to push in the mid lane. And yeah, the Twitch chat is definitely turned quite a bit.
They've flipped.
Yeah, they definitely have flipped. They're like, okay, we're not going to vote for Mood this time. We're just going to vote for Control. So everyone's channel points are on the line. Just being able to hopefully get some more channel points. That's the real important thing on the line here. That's the really important thing here. The channel points of the viewers, not the tournament hopes of I mean, who really cares about if Control will get knocked out or go to Barcelona? It's all about the Twitch channel points. But wow, it's a lot of early game aggression there for Control.
Yeah, it looked like Kamalto I didn't see the beginning of that exchange, may have landed a flay and then 1 health on Orianna here, nearly falling. And that's really punishing. Like level 1 Orianna now to level 3 for Iman's Corki, like allows them to have so much lane presence here. No flash available means Ori can't really step up either.
Yeah, and it's a lot of experience that she's missing out on as well. Only has 800 gold. I mean, even the support has more gold than the Orianna, which is kind of what it feels like what happens, if you have that kind of early lane pressure and if you can do something. And I spoke about Komoto in his runs.
You did. Here comes the hook. Tries to land. It does connect. That should be first blood here.
Ignite.
As the Ignite is ticking. Honey fruit's enough. 5 fruit a day keeps the doctor away, but only 3 prevents you from getting killed as Razor is able to back under the turret. That is closer than it should be, and that Ignite really should have picked up the kill.
I spoke
Seconds away from kills from both sides, mid and bot for Control.
Yeah, I spoke about the Komoto roams before this, going into this game as well, and it just shows what Thresh can offer, and Ignite was so close. If Komoto just flashed a little bit earlier before Ahri took the honey through, then it would have been first blood for sure. But unfortunately, he was maybe a little bit hesitant. Maybe he thought that the Ignite was going to be enough, but early game... I don't want to say it. Early game Control for Control, but that's more aggression again, and Orianna's surely dead this time.
Spain without the S for Orianna in this game, and Control are really punishing this Orianna bot lane. And I think this is what you have to do, is you have to put it so far into the ground that Ori never scales. Really tough situation to be in.
It is really tough, and look at the gold lead already. 1,000 gold lead for Eman already down in this duo lane. And I spoke a little bit about this duo lane in the previous series that they played before, and kind of how they played quite a long time together now, and they've got that synergy together. And with Komoto in his roams and Eman being a very solid duo lane player himself, you can see they're really starting to come online now. I think they got the confidence from that first game, because the first game was very, very scrappy, but now they have the momentum, they have the confidence going into the second game.
Yeah, they do. And I'm starting to think about, MVP of this series is going towards Komoto in my mind for now. Like a real high impact on this series, making plays and also denying plays from Mood pretty much all across the board. That's the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike combo landing. This is Renekton though, so Josh is going to flash away. Does have himself Dominus and a barrier available, but has this opened up an opportunity towards the Rift Child. There's Zed going in. It's going to be Ryder Zito looking for the kill. Deathmark's not enough. It's going to pop and just disengage from this. Neutral objective's about to spawn, and I think that's going to be Mood taking that Rift Herald, but not really an opportunity for that Dragon now for Control. They're not going to be able to even it up.
Yeah, they tried to defend this Baron lane. They tried to defend Josh this time, but it was a little bit late, to be honest with you, because like you said, they're not really on the map. They do have the package available. It looks like they're going to go for Rift Herald, but
it's a little slow.
think it's I think it's too little too late.
Yeah, I think Lee Sin should be able to take it, although the eye didn't open on Rift Herald, so is closer than perhaps it should have been. There's the flash out from Komoto. There's a lot of damage down from the package, but it's not really enough to start it. And Renekton's actually going to go start up the Drake and force that while Mood are backing, Control can just end up taking that objective. That is at least some forward thinking from Control to say, okay, well, we can't contest Rift Herald. Let's actually get this started and get it going, because like the recalls came out. This should fall before Mood are ever in the position to contest.
You say that, Lee Sin's here. He's going to probably dash over the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was slower than they should have made it. Everybody backed away.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, as mentioned previously, they kind of tried to defend Josh in this Baron lane. Instead, it was a little bit too late, though, to be honest with you. And Mood Gaming getting the Rift Herald. We're now going to look towards this first tower of the game and look at the ward by Komoto. Look at this. The hook's going to land.
Hook lands. Have they got the death mark? It is available. Renekton on the opposite side of the map has died, and that Darius should fall to the death mark. Will proc, and that's going to be a second one on the Gragas in bottom lane. And first tower likely to go down to Mood on the bottom side. So despite the fact that Control made the play top side, they are going to lose out on that at least last bit of tempo on their bottom lane.
Yeah, all Josh had to do in this Dura lane was just play safe. As long as he played safe and if he just defended the tower, it would have been completely fine. We're going to have to see what happened here. And it's just an overextension. I mean, it's just a really, really bad misplay by Josh. You know that the rest of your team is on the top side of the map. I'm saying that Karsix was actually down there, so I completely mistaken there. But even if that is the case, your team is still making a play on the opposite side of the map, so you should realize that Lee Sin is trying to make that counter play in the bot side as well. And just an overextension in that situation, you can't really win a 2 versus 2, especially against a Lee Sin and Ari in the early game. Yeah,
I think the real difficult thing there for Josh is that his flash was unavailable still from that top lane play. I think maybe it's a slightly different situation, but without that summoner, I mean, you're not safe in the bottom lane. And as you said, making a play top side while also playing unsafe on bottom side is a recipe for disaster. Control nearly tried to get another play on the top lane, but couldn't really find Halil, and it's a little bit of a slower game now. Control have topside vision on the map. No neutral objectives for another couple of minutes yet, though. So it really is just all about the gold lead, all about pushing these waves back out. E-Man's going to get that vision plant through the bottom side just to make sure that they're keeping track as best they can of Baloo's and where he is on the jungle. And now it's about cutting into the middle lane. They're going to try and look for a play here. You can see Komoto moving on the map. They're going to maybe look for that Proto Belt. Hook does get the hook anyway. Flay comes through. Gragas is barely going to survive. No, he's not. That Ignite is going to be the kill for Komoto, as the rest of the team from Control are going to steady themselves around middle lane. But it's all about backing away. They're going to look for top side now.
Komoto. Last game, we saw him on the Galio. We saw him with that flash 4-man taunt. This game, he's taking control of this game on this Thresh. Insane plays. And again, I mentioned it. It was all about the roams of Ryder Zito.
Yeah, he's trying to shadow his way back out, but can't quite get there in time. And that is a kill again on this bottom lane, going over to Mood.
Yeah, but Control looking to make another play as well. And it's just back and forth at the moment with these plays. It's like, okay, Mood Gaming making a play on the bot side, and it's Control making a play on the bot side. But you can see the Halil here is just playing really, really passive. He knows that he doesn't really need to overextend. And this is what Mood Gaming need to do. They need to try and find these picks to try and get themselves back into this game. And even though it's only like, like a 3,000 gold, 2,000 gold lead, over to the side of Control, you can see for the side of Control as well, 5 Mercury treads. So realizing there's a lot of magic damage and a lot of crowd control as well, and especially the charms. They don't want to be charmed for too long by Ari.
Yeah, and also on top of that, there's one Black Cleaver. Oh, no Black Cleaver Corki, though. It's that'll make Hells happy. I've already had one little moment trying to provoke Hells on Twitter on that today, but I won't go too much further on that. As Halil, as he said, playing passively top lane against Josh. That's the second dash used and just gets himself past the Darius. Didn't even matter. Meanwhile, Zed has gone in with the Death Mark. Right as Zito looking to get a kill, but it's just going to force Mood back as they're going to start Rift Herald for themselves. Dragon is up in 5 seconds though, so I think Mood might just cut into that. However, the Rift Herald has fallen before it even spawns down in the bottom lane. Hook does land onto Darius. Have they got the damage to be able to take it? There's a fight on 2 fronts as it's Corki that's picked up the first kill, but look, there's the Shockwave. It's going to be enough, not quite, to pick off Josh, and Mood are not quite able to stabilize this fight. They're so low. The Proto Belt Hook doesn't quite hit, but Control will back out and take themselves the Dragon as well.
Yep, like you said, E-Man took the first kill. They're going to be taking the Rift Herald. They're going to try and take this mid lane tower right as Zito as well. That is one dead. Oriana. Yeah.
They're taking everything as Control really extend their lead on this game. Oh, nice flash from E-Man.
Really, really nice reactions by E-Man in the end. I thought the flash charm was going to be able to get him, but yeah. Rift Herald taken, mid tower taken, Dragon taken as well. That's now 2 Dragons on the side of Control. And yeah, this is looking like a much cleaner game this time around compared to the first one. Yeah,
it is. And this was the engage. Basically, mid lane they go for the kill, but they also have to face off against that Darius top side.
Yeah, exactly. There was a play on the Darius on the top side, kind of zoned out for the rest of the fight, but Josh being able to dash in and use the root to be able to root Mood Gaming and root Gragas in place, and he just pretty much got deleted, unfortunately, and then they were able to rotate that, and you can see Controller just moving around, and Komoto is just going to flank them.
Yeah, it doesn't quite land the hook, but it splits the pack and forces Darius to be a little bit closer to Control than he would have liked to have been. Corki is going to rain some damage down. Shockwave gets Valkyried away from, and that's a big cooldown used as Ari has died in a 1v1 on the bottom lane. And now they're going to just take another kill onto Oriana. This is really opening the game up. Like, Control are really starting to ramp up the pressure.
Yeah, they're just playing really, really proactive right now. As you mentioned, the Ari dying in the Dura lane. Renekton finally coming out on top in that play.
That's a huge apprehend. Is it enough, though? Is there 3 versus 4? Lee Sin kick does disengage, and that's all going to be a hook landing. I think Mood thought that they could see the fight in front of them, but it is not enough. There's the stasis from E-Man. Gets him the kill. He's burning. He's bleeding. He's ticking. He's out of there as E-Man gets to safety. And Control continue to advance their lead.
E-Man's reactions this game are absolutely disgusting. The flash away from the flash charm, the Valkyrie away from the shockwave, and also there as well being able to stasis. And yeah, Josh somehow wins this. It's probably the empowered W, I would say. No, it's just the empowered Q healing. I thought it might have been the empowered W because it does do a lot of damage, but right as Zito is still playing aggressive as well, but yeah, it's the empowered healing on the Renekton with the ultimate as well. You get the extra fury over time as well, and just being able to somehow deal enough damage. I'm very, very surprised about that myself.
Shout out to the cannon minion. Just there, like, I will throw everything at them for you. I will do that 200 extra damage to allow you to win this fight.
Yep, somehow winning out in the 1v1. But yeah, as mentioned before that replay, E-Man on this Corki, as mentioned, flashing away from the charm flash, and I don't have time to talk. They're getting another kill in this Baron lane.
All fights as Control have locked down another one. That's gonna unlock at least the vision control around Baron here. Package is up. E-Man can go get that, set themselves up for the next play.
Yeah, and you can see now that Mood Gaming just have to play so passive. They have no control at the moment of their entire jungle. You can see Control just moving around as 5 members or as 4 members, just leaving Josh by himself down in the Dura lane. And you can see that there's nothing really that the Mood Gaming can do about it. And this is what happens when you lose that mid lane tower. But that could be their opportunity in the top lane.
Yeah, it could very well be, as they've had to back themselves away. It's actually going to be Josh that's looking to go aggressive down bottom lane on Blues. He's going to win that fight. That is an easy pickoff, and now there's no jungle, and Baron's up in 15 seconds under that as Control. All they've got to do is just like push out for a little bit of presence, but then it's going to go for the kill. That's an easy kill. 2 versus 1. Deathmark pops and down goes another turret for Control. Now they have full visibility over this Baron. They're going to actually reset first. 17 seconds on the Lee Sin, 26 seconds on Ari before they can respawn. Package is up. E-Man's going to get it and come over to the Baron.
Yeah, I don't think they need to. I say they don't need to risk it, but they're going to risk it anyway. Yeah, they don't. I feel like they don't need to risk this, but I guess there's nothing really that Mood Gaming can do about this. Their base is in absolute shambles at the moment, and you know, 5 towers to 1, 2 dragons to 0 as well. The dragon is now going to be up and available. The Cloud Dragon, the package is still available as well, but he managed to be a little bit careful here.
I think he can actually take this fight because of the package. He's just able to split so much. Oh, that's a great flash apprehend. I might very well be wrong. Here comes Komoto and the rest of Control. The cavalry arrives and Control take another kill. 15 kills to 3. Now Renekton's going to push topside with Baron buff, and this is how you like to see a Baron buff used. Zed's going to dive over the wall for a split engage here, as that is half the health, 3/4 of the health, all of the health gone of Lee Sin already. Cloud Drake has already gone over to Control, and this is very quickly looking like a 2-0 series, as they're going to be able to push topside, push bottom side, push through mid. They've denied the jungle presence here from Balooz, and Control putting themselves in position to win this game in the next minute or so.
Yep, it's looking a bit dire now for Mood Gaming. They're going to have to come up with some sort of miracle now to be able to get back into this game. They're going to try and pick off Josh, but yeah, Josh playing really, really defensive right now. And yeah, as you said, you know, they're using the Baron so well. They're pushing the 3 waves. They're creating the different sources of pressure in the 3 lanes as well. And there's not really much that Mood Gaming can really do about this.
No, it's going to have to be one big fight, just like we saw from Blows earlier. It's going to have to be the Orianna, but that shockwave is used, whether it was looking for the engage or just to clear the minions. It was used, and it is now no longer available. Top inhibitor is down. Mid will follow very quickly. That charm does land onto right as Zito, and it's half health down, as bot lane has fallen as well. Almost simultaneously, all 3 inhibitors fall, and it feels like it's all she wrote for Mood as Control. They've already got the kill through the top lane. They're now looking for more, as that's a proto belt forward. Getting the damage down. Triple kill lands already for Josh, and in a series where he was focused out in game 1, Control will turn it back around for a 2-0 win to advance in the lower bracket.
Very, very messy first game, but that was a lot cleaner by Control in that second game, just using their aggression really well. And as you said, you know, Josh in the end, just dealing the final blow to Mood Gaming. It's like, okay, you're going to focus me in the first game. You want to focus me? I'm going to take you down and get the triple kill and end the series. But overall, a pretty solid performance in the second game by Control. The first one was a little bit back and forth, but I like how aggressive Control were. And Komoto, again, with these roams around on the Thresh, just showing him, or showing everyone really, that he is someone to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Komoto is like Thresh is really a pick that we have to look for, as well as the Galio. Like Galio in game 1 was very effective, but this was kind of that showcase of why they put the high priority on Thresh. I think his roams very, very effective. Even if they weren't always getting a kill, always at least forcing summoners, always something defensively out of the opponents. And I think one thing Control could tidy up a little bit on is these deaths on the side lane when the rest of the team are going aggressive, because like Komoto was opening up so many opportunities on the other side of the map that, like, if you play cleanly on the weak side, you're okay. You'll be able to steady through against a lot of the better teams.
Yeah, it's like Josh getting caught out a few times in that duo lane of just little misplays here and there, but honestly that can just clean up over time. But yeah, like you said, Komoto just being able to roam around and make these aggressive plays, especially in the Baron lane this game, and in the end it was them that pick up this victory. And I feel like if they do clean up on some of these mistakes, they could definitely look to try and you know, progress through the lower bracket as well, because it is still, you know, do or die for the teams in the lower bracket. If they do lose one game, then they are out, and unfortunately for Mood Gaming, it is going to be them today that are going to be eliminated. And we'll have to see if they can come back through on the in a last chance qualifier. And yeah, I would say big shout out to E-Man as well. We didn't really talk about him that much during this game, but his reactions in this game and just overall his package usage as well was really, really important on this score key.
Yeah, really important. I think E-Man played it very well. I think unfortunate for Halil, if I remember rightly, it was first pick Darius in this game. Yeah. But we saw Control really pressure Halil to the point where Darius never got into the game. So I understand why you do that first pick, but like right as Zito's damage is insane in this game. Like out damaging Corki is pretty impressive. But yeah, I feel like Control did a really good job of focusing out what should have been a strong point for Mood and making sure they could just never get it into the game.
Yeah, they weren't able to get into this game. As you can see, it was kind of even throughout the game until a kind of point where it just steadily went into Control's favor. And I feel like if they can get a gold lead and if they get a steady gold lead as well, you can see that they can control the map very, very well. You know, especially when the mid lane tower goes down, they can rotate around the map as a team. And just, yeah, as like I said, as long as Josh plays just a little bit defensive on the weak side, like you said, when the opposite side of the map is playing very aggressive and trying to make plays, on the weak side, you just need to play passive. You don't need to go for these 1v1 outplays. And he did, in the end, to be fair to him, he did solo kill Ari, I think it was 2 or 3 times, if I remember. So he did, you know, he did play really, really well in the end, in the side lane. But just playing on weak side, sometimes you need to play a little bit passive, and this is something that people can learn from as well when looking at competitive. As if your team's making a play on one side and you on the weak side of the map, just realize that maybe the jungler might be there as well.
Yeah, and playing a weak side is all about mitigating losses, right? It's like lose the least amount that you can at all times when your team is winning on the other side. Like if you stay alive but stop a tower push, that's worth it on the weak side. That's exactly what you want to do. Let's take a look at our play of the game and see exactly where this one turned in favor for Control. There are a couple of fights that went their way, but I feel like Komoto was doing so much to set these up.
Yeah, Komoto was the main focus, and this was the one that Halil was trying to flash in, trying to apprehend as well, but unfortunately wasn't able to. But yeah, Komoto, hook, flash. I think he landed multiple of these throughout the whole of this game, and it just shows as well that, you know, like I said before, he's someone to look out for, definitely. Yeah. And I feel like when it gets to the MVP as well, I feel like he's definitely up there for me as one of the maybe contentions for the MVP of the series.
I think so too, especially like when you get a support MVP, it's from flashy plays. Very charismatic guy. I'm hoping we can hear more from him just in general as we go through WREC. So, you know, coming out of their first series of games, I was like, ooh, Control. I had more faith in them maybe than was justified, but I think after this performance, I'm like, no, actually, they're a team that are on the rise in the way of like how they're playing the game, and I think from both of the teams that won today, there definitely are improvements based on closer opposition than in their first series. But we are going to take a look at that MVP. We are going to see exactly who has won it. This moment is always tricky for me because I'm never sure who has. So the MVP of this series is going to be... Oh, it's got to be. This player has to be Komoto. Okay, now that I see this from Series 1, from Game 1, yeah, it's a very deserved MVP.
I mean, like you said, you very rarely get to see a support MVP, but I feel like Komoto in this series, you know, I feel like his 4-man flash taunt in that first game was the difference, and in the second game as well, him just being able to roaming around the map and making these flashy plays, it just shows you why Thresh is really a high priority at the moment. I mean, we didn't really speak about it too much about the pick itself, but we saw in the first series that Thresh was a high priority. In the second series as well, Thresh was also a high priority. So going into, you know, if we see like these Titans, like we like to call them as well, we're going to be seeing if they still have that high priority on Thresh as well. But I feel like support is definitely rising up, because after the likes of Thresh, Galio, and really Gragas, is kind of a big step down towards the other supports, and these like you know SS plus tier supports again really high priorities in these pick and ban phases.
Yeah, I wonder where our other series are going to go on the support priority. However, for now we have an interview with one of our winners, with Carmeline.
Yeah, indeed, I won the last game. No, I'm just kidding. I'm here with Komoto support for Control and also the MVP of the game. Welcome, Komoto.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining us today. Congratulations on that victory. And well, I wanted to ask you, because the first game was completely different from the second game. In the first game, it was kind of chaotic. Second game, so organized, so perfect. What happened in between, and how did you manage that?
Yes, before I go into the game, I wanted to make a quick statement from KTRL. Due to situation Ukraine, we wanted to say that KTRL is standing with Ukraine and standing for peace. And we really support people that suffer from it. That's the one thing I wanted to say. About the games, the second game was definitely much better. The first game we made a lot of mistakes. Also, we were surprised that Mood Gaming showed a lot of more high skill that we expected. Yeah, Mood Gaming were great opponents, and I'm proud of my team.
Okay, and what are you expecting from the next week when you have to face off with your bracket, the other team? I think it's Lowe's Gaming. What are you going to be doing? How are you going to be prepping for that game?
We have a lot of work to do. We have managed to fix some mistakes, but we are still improving. We will improve because the next opponents are probably gonna be even stronger than the ones we had right now. Yeah, and a lot of work, and I think we can do it. We might be the dark horse of the lower bracket.
Okay, so there it goes, the dark horse of the lower bracket. There you say it, Kamoto. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for the show match today. And we hope to see more of you. So thank you. And I send it back to the casters.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Carmeline and Kamoto. A very important message from Control there as well. So take pause on that. Before we end up wrapping up the rest of our day, of course, I mean, to focus in on the games, I think Control looked a lot cleaner this week around than their previous series. I think, as Kamoto said, like there's still stuff to work on, but I think a very deserved 2-0 for them coming out of these games. A little, understandably subdued from Kamoto. I think as a personality, I'm looking forward to hearing more from him in future. But Stuart, what's your takeaway from today's series?
Yeah. Like you said, Kamoto, a very, very nice guy indeed, and it just shows that these teams can still come back even though they do lose to 2-0 if you can fix the mistakes, which it looks like they have done. But they said that they've still got a few more mistakes as well, which we kind of saw in the first game of this series. But I kind of agree with him. If they can fix on their mistakes, if they can understand how to play as a team and work well together, then it will be a really, really big and surprising upset if Control will be able to make it.
Yeah, it's a great start for them to be building through the lower bracket. Let's take a look at the bracket and see where we are on the tournament. We are hotting up into the upper bracket, which we'll take a look at in a minute. But lower bracket, Control have advanced, Blows have advanced, Felion have advanced, and Weigers have advanced as well in their series. We've started to have some 2-1s, but I mean, the lower bracket's exciting, but the upper bracket is stacked. Like, these matchups are what we want to see from the WREC. Zero Zone versus Viv Esports and Game Mode Queso tomorrow. Rix, GG, and Navi, we're still about a week away from that in Formulation versus Team Dark. So I wanted to focus on them. Rix versus Navi. Like, sum up, how huge of a game is that for us, Stuart?
Massive game for both these teams. I mean, coming into this, I feel like they are the top teams. But you're looking at the schedule as well. Like you mentioned, tomorrow is going to be such a big day. Zero Zone versus Viv, and then Game Lord against Team Case. I feel like the whole of these last 2 days and also tomorrow, we're building up for that main event, Game Lord versus Team Queso, where one of these teams are going to go down to the lower bracket. And when you talk about the titans of the tournament, you don't want to be Game Lord or Team Queso, and you do not want to go down to the lower bracket.
Welcome back, Carmeline, joining us to talk through tomorrow's games. I know that you have Team Queso in mind for the Queso Game World Series, and to be honest, I think we underestimated the Blows prediction, and you earned the win on that one. So we know your opinion on Team Queso. What about the other series, Viv against Zero Zone? Who do you think has the edge?
I mean, kind of impartial here. I'm still supporting Zero Zone. Think about it. I mean, it's a matter of having seen these people grow and, improve throughout the time. And obviously you build a connection to them, just like Kamoto and Stuart do. Because obviously Stuart is not biased at all. You can notice it clearly, right? So the same is for me and Zero Zone, Team Queso. Like, I've been talking to these people. I've been experiencing things with these people during events, competitions. So you end up feeling a little bit soft in the heart for them.
I get that. I totally understand that. That's me with Mad Lions, even though they're having a terrible time in the LEC right now. I feel so tragic about that. Having worked for them for 2 years, I'm like, come on, keep winning. No, not the case. Anyway, we're focused on Wild Rift. We're focused on 2 banger series coming tomorrow. Stuart, you'll be joining me for tomorrow's series. Xcandrel will be back as well. He and I will be guiding you through Game Lord versus Queso in what is, I hope, our most exciting series of the tournament so far. However, I think Control had something to say about that in our second series of the day today. Thank you very much, Carmeline and Stuart, for joining me on today's broadcast. We'll be back tomorrow at exactly the same time, exactly the same place for some of our upper bracket games. You do not want to miss that.